Welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism. We're here for a short Memorial Day special, and I'm here with Christy Santiago. Say hi, Christy Santiago.
Hi, Christy Santiago.
Love it. So we're here today to thank our servicemen and women who keep our country safe, keep us safe, and our vets as well. So thank you so much. Christy, do you want to add any of that little bit?
You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for putting your life on the line for your nation, which includes me. So thanks for putting my life on the line with your body. That's amazing. Thanks for the sacrifice. And I think you guys are total heroes. And thank you so, so much. That's about it. I just think they're so cool. There's nothing I could say that doesn't sound cheesy. I think they're amazing.
Yeah. We really do appreciate it. And
yes.
We wanted to come out and make sure that we said that for Memorial Day. I know that Christy, whenever she sees anyone who serves down there, she's told me that you always point it out, you always say thank you, and you're always a wonderful, beautiful human being towards them. So I appreciate that I have a wonderful co-host like that. So sadly, we can't just send the video here because of things happening here in the USA. We have a little more to talk about. And again, this will be brief, but there are important things that our viewers need to know about what's going on in the news right now, if you haven't heard somehow.
Right.
We have our president, Donald Trump. He's using his pardoning power.
He makes me say things that aren't real words as well. So
yeah. He doesn't care about grammar. Why should I? He's the president.
Right.
So,
Bigly.
It
is a word. It's just an odd word.
It's a very odd word. So before I even say, like, you should check out the pardons he's already done because he only pardons awful, screwy, awful people. And he's keeping this trend, except he's like up in the ante. So what he's doing?
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. I can outdo myself. Trust me. I've been the very best, and it's really hard to continue being the best when I've already set all the records. But thanks. I watched a lot of Stephen Colbert last year.
So funny.
So there's 4 people that his people they're getting their paperwork ready to pardon them for Memorial Day, which I think is absolutely disgusting. 1, that he's pardoning any of these people. 2, that he's doing it on Memorial Day, soiling the pride that we have for our vets, for the people who serve.
For our service people, yes.
Good people who follow the rules of war, who do their job because they feel they have to. Who
and they want to help.
Fun and bloodlust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one, who's like the biggest in the story. Actually, I'll skip him because we'll come back. We have Major Matthew Goldstein. He's an Army Green Beret convicted of killing an unarmed Afghan in 2010. That might be the guy that I think he took him out for an unauthorized interrogation. And he shot him in the forehead and the chest. He goes unarmed. I don't understand how you get away with that. And he didn't. He's been in jail for I think the last 6 years or something like that. And he's being pardoned because he was treated unfairly because he shot an unarmed person. So anyways, the third, because I skipped the first, is a group of Marine Corps snipers who urinated on the corpses of dead Taliban fighters, which is just unsportsmanlike, to say the least. You mostly have info on Gallagher, right?
Let's see, who is it that I have info on? I don't want to spend the time looking for it in front of me. No, I don't know who is the canoer.
Yeah, that's the Blackwater guy. He's the next one on my list here. So if you guys don't know who Blackwater is, and they've changed their what who is the who and what the organization is. It's a defense contractor. They've changed their name since then. I forget what they're called now. It's not hard to look it up though. Who's the guy who was in charge of it when it was Blackwater?
Eric Prince.
Brother, Eric Prince. Yeah. This guy's not even part of our military. He's not even part of our military. He may have been before, but he was a defense contractor and he was convicted of shooting dozens of unarmed Iraqis. I don't know if they were civilians or not, but I know that a lot of Blackwater contractors, they had a really bad habit of executing civilians. Whether they were Iraqis or Palestinians, there was a lot of bloodlust there. The guy that they're looking at pardoning, I don't have his name. Christy can't say his name, but what did he coin? What did he coin, Christy?
Canoeing. It's called canoeing.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting practice that after you have taken down enemy people of they could be civilians. It doesn't really matter what they are because it didn't matter to these guys. They will put the gun on the person's head about right here and aim it just right so that when they shot, it would shoot all the way through and make a canoe shape. And they would take pictures. They thought it was hilarious. They talked about it often. And it was so gross that it, and common enough that it got a tag to be used when done canoeing. And our president wants to pardon him. He thinks that he has been treated unfairly. So I think that it sullies our service people. I think that it... Sorry, my dog's being very, very rambunctious tonight. I think that it sheds horrible light on our military. It makes our military look like they are above the law, like way up here, and can do whatever they want, kind of like Hitler and his military, how they could do whatever they wanted. They didn't have to... It's not good. It's nobody is above the law. And if there is going to be international law, we all have to follow it. Every single nation has to follow it. And if you don't like it, there are ways to amend the laws. Work for it. Get people on your side. Show up to the meetings. Vote. But not being a part of it doesn't make you a better or above democracy. It makes you not a part of democracy. You don't get a say.
Right.
That's how I feel about that.
And we help fight. We as a nation, the U.S., because I know we have some Canadian viewers, which is awesome. You guys are awesome. We help write some of those laws, and we can't fucking follow them. That's awful. And another point is, and I was going to wait, but now's a good time to lay it out there, is that we give these people a license to kill, and they still find an illegal way to do it. Like, they don't deserve any respect. Honestly, to me, and it might sound harsh, it might not, if you save a school full of kids and then you go shoot an unarmed girl just for funsies, you don't get any of that credit for saving any of those lives. Like, you lose all of that credibility for being a disgusting person. That's how I look at it. Our last person here, or the first, the person who's getting the most attention for this right now is the Special Ops Chief, Edward Gallagher. He's a Navy SEAL, and he hasn't even stood trial yet. And before Christy tells you all the shit he's done, I want to make a point to tell you that 7 other Navy SEALs who are under him went to his commanding officer and told him about what he was doing. He kind of gave the same kind of because there's a lot of tribalism in the military. So when women go to a commanding officer because they were raped in the service, they get the same kind of answer quite often, which is, "Oh, that doesn't sound like him. They wouldn't do that." Right? So that's pretty much what happened to these Navy SEALs when they went to their commanding officers. 2 or 3 down the line, they kept going up the chain of command. 7 Navy SEAls, 7 different people.
Just goes to show you there's lots more good than bad. We're not shining a light on bad, saying this is what it is, because this is not what it is. This is not how it should be. This is wrong. Wrong. So wrong. And if you do wrong, I don't care who you know, how much money you have, how much good you did before that. That one bad thing still has to be taken in, like, it still matters. It still matters. Yes. You're still accountable for it.
Yes, and we can't have tribalism. We can't break these rules that we help set. These 7 men are heroes for disobeying their commanding officers when they're told to just fall in line, because they just kept going up the chain of command until they got so high to where they were just sick of it, and you're like, okay, cool, then we're just going to the press. We're going to go to every news outlet we possibly can, just spread it the fuck everywhere, or you can fucking deal with it. And they finally did. And this is why Christy told me 100% Donald Trump.
They're not with this. They're not okay with this.
They're not okay with him pardoning them. But if the public didn't already know about these stories, I'm not so sure that they wouldn't be. And I don't mean to denounce our military, and I'm not. I'm denouncing these disgusting people that Donald Trump is pardoning. But this sets a precedent. This hurts our view of our military, the people who, the good people who are serving our country. This hurts the view of them. I can't trust that the military wouldn't be 100% against Donald Trump pardoning these people if the public didn't already know about them.
Right.
That's already the consequences that have been set. I'm not the only person who thinks that, I'm sure. So anyways,
they're using, it's the left. The left is saying that our warriors are bad people. The left are saying that our soldiers, they were sent there to kill. That's what they were there for, and they did it. Now they're in trouble. Come on, the left is crazy. But it's not the left who accused these troops in questions of war crimes. I'm sorry, it's not. The truth is, it was the military justice system.
Yep.
That's who. And while Trump seems to view the pardons as a gift to the military, it's actually the military that has decided to prosecute Gallagher and Goldstein. Pardons, in short, would interfere in persecution instigated by the military, which is an extremely unusual thing for a president to do. Absent evidence of innocence or injustice, the wholesale pardon of U.S. service members accused of war crimes signals our troops and allies that we do not take the law of armed conflict seriously, says General Martin Dempsey, who served as President Barack Obama's senior military advisor. Bad message, bad precedent, abdication of moral responsibility, and a risk to all of us. So I happen to agree with that assessment of this ass hat sandwich that our president's trying to put us in again.
Yeah.
Just let the courts handle it. Just let them handle it. They haven't even been judged yet. Let them handle it. Keep your shit out of it. If the military says these guys are guilty, then the military should be responsible with what happens to them after, not you.
Yeah, this is what happens when you don't listen to your advisors. This is what happens when you don't listen to military officers. This is what happens when you just listen to Eric Prince.
Why it's so important who is the commander-in-chief, by the way.
Yeah. This is why I back Tulsi Gabbard 100%.
She's so awesome.
Yeah. Also special thanks to her because she's been in the Army National Guard for like 16 years.
Yes.
Good major. So.
BA.
Yeah. Badass.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a young woman and an elderly man, both killed by
from snipers. Yeah, he sat in a sniper's nest, whatever they're called, roost. Noose? Yeah. Nest? Roost, yes. Yes, and picked them off.
Picked them off. And the other, other SEALs saw it. Like
many people, and they were told that he would say things like, shoot that rocket launcher over there into that house. And what if there's people there? Yeah, what if there are people there? And he'd say, what if there is? Or whatever he didn't. That was the whole point. It's good target practice. It's how you learn to shoot it in a window is to shoot it in a window. And so that's how he would start getting reports done on him, because people would be like, well, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with shooting a rocket launcher into a house that I don't know if there's families in there. I'm not going to be responsible for that. So they would start sending, hey, by the way, this is going on. Nobody cared.
No.
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
It took going to the press, as it always does.
Okay. That's when more people start to care, is when it finally gets to the press. American
people do not want war, Mac. You know this. I don't care what side of the aisle. American people, when asked face to face, do not want war. It's going to be far and few between that are gung-ho about war, and they're probably not going to have all their cookies in the jar. Because it's just not something that Americans are more comfortable. I'm not saying all. I would never say all Americans. But we're comfortable. We have TV shows that we like to watch and books that we like to read and our favorite meal of the week and gardening on Saturday. We're comfortable. We don't want war.
No.
So that's why it has to be packaged and sold to us in different ways, because we don't want it. So when things get brought to the press and the American people find out, they have to follow through. That's why it is so important to have freedom of the press, by the way. Happy Memorial Day.
Okay. But because you're right. The majority of the American people, they don't want war. We also don't want war on our land, right?
Right.
On that. Committing these crimes and killing civilians will heighten the chance of that. Why? Because it builds more extremist groups who want revenge and who will kill anyone to get revenge.
Right.
Right? I think that kind of logically follows.
Right.
Anyways, again, Edward Gallagher, he shot this young woman who was wearing a flower hijab. She was just a civilian. He just wanted some target practice. And he also shot that elderly man, and the witnesses said, they just saw him stop, drop, and a bunch of blood come out because they were just watching their commanding officer just pick people off for no fucking reason. He also killed a 15-year-old boy. Do you want to tell him about that real quick? The captive?
Yeah, he stabbed him to death and then used his cell phone to take photographs and video with his corpse. But he should be pardoned and out on our streets because that's fucking normal.
Because he was treated unfairly. Fuck that means. So, do you have anything you want to really add to this before we
read the Geneva Convention? That's what I want to add to this.
Yeah, read the Geneva. Yeah, that's a good.
Of the world, pick up the Geneva Convention paper for free. It's for free, and read it. And read if your country is signed on to this. If you are you have signed on to abide by these laws, war laws. There's laws for all kinds of things in it. And it's very informative. And it definitely says that you cannot do things like canoeing. You cannot pick off civilians. You cannot... It doesn't matter that you're at war. This is why the Geneva Convention was put together, was because during war, people got really depraved and nasty, and just murderers were excited about war because they could go and get away with whatever they wanted, and they did. There had to be laws put up because we're humans and we evolve and we don't want things done to us. So we legislate so that wouldn't be done to us because we don't want it done to us, which means that it's also fair that it is not done to others as well. And that is why it was legislated. And war crimes they're a huge deal. They're not just a big deal, they're a huge deal. And if a country, I don't care what country, I hate that it's my country. I wish that it wasn't. It's disgusting. But if my daughter did something disgusting and abhorrent, I wouldn't not want her as my daughter anymore. I would be disgusted about it, and I would want to help her never do that again. You know, that's how we've got to look at it. We've got to be willing to acknowledge it, worry about trying to fix it so we don't do it again, but we have to know that it's happening, you know, so that we can fix it, so that it doesn't happen again. I don't want war crimes happening to humans that I know, to myself, to children, to people I don't know, to people I'll never meet. I don't want war crimes happening to people. Period.
Yeah, I agree. We need to set a better precedence. Well, exactly.
Rant over.
Rant over. Wonderful rant. Wonderful Memorial Day rant. Thank you.
Yay.
No, yeah, I think we really need to set a better precedent because, as I said before, the 7 Navy SEALs who brought this to our attention, ultimately, they're heroes, right? Absolutely. They want to play by the rules. They actually want to serve our country and playing by the rules of war, even though war should be avoided at all costs. All costs like that are logical. Right. We should at least play by the rules, so others play by the rules and don't. Right,
because we're the leaders of the world.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not, that's where you live if you're an American. So it's a huge responsibility.
Yes, it is, and we should not be afraid of letting the international courts, what was it? The international criminal courts, yes. The ICC, into our country, and we should not be saying "fuck you" to your visas if you try to come here and investigate any kind of war crimes.
Right. No, we should don't do war crimes.
Yeah, we should just not do war crimes. We should just be innocent of that kind of shit.
Right.
We should just be the role models because we are the strongest nation. We have the strongest military. Do we really need to be fucks too? We have enough muscle power to do it the right way. So we should.
If you have the most muscle power and you're using it in the wrong way, that's just it's like the big bully who beats up on kids. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. And people are not dumb. And people are waking up all over the world, and I'm always embarrassed when I'm talking to someone from another country who goes, "Oh man, what the heck's going on over there? You guys need to stop being world bullies or so greedy or this, that, and the other." And I'm always like, ugh, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Hashtag not all Americans.
Yeah, exactly. And we have wonderful men, trans people who serve in our military, who want to serve in the right way, in our best interests. And I am so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of you. I really, really appreciate what you do, because I couldn't do it. I don't have the stomach for it. I don't want the stomach for it, honestly. So I'm glad that someone can serve our country in the way that you do. I really, really appreciate it. And then I have some final words, and then you can close us out. Are you ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me adjust. All right, go.
Okay. So again, thank you so much, people who are currently serving in our military and veterans who have in the past. We really appreciate your service and your courage and your willingness to do things the right way. To everyone else, like those being pardoned, we have a name for soldiers who commit war crimes. Those are terrorists.
Stay humanist, for God's sake.